This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, now the session has started recording. So let me give you a heads up of how this session is going to be, guys. Okay. So this session is a demo, right? We call it demo, and what I always believe is demo is something that it's not me talking in the session, but it's you who should be asking me questions where my job is to clarify those questions, right? So, but to set the context, I will talk about the cloud specifically and a bit of AWS, why we are getting into AWS at a very, very high level. Okay, just to set the context, and that would take hardly half an hour time, 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And after that, I'll start taking all the questions that you have, guys. Okay, so anything related to cloud that you want to know, and any question that you previously had, and feel free to ask, and I'll be clarifying them. Okay. And it won't be possible for me to talk to each and everyone because there are so many people. So I will start with my introduction, and when you start answering, asking me questions, then you can introduce yourself and then I can talk about it. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as you can see my screen, guys, this is solution architect demo, but it is not limited to solution architect. And we will be talking about a bit of development. We'll talk about a bit of professional concepts. We'll also talk about sysadmin, like sysops as well. Okay, fine. So let me introduce myself. Shiv Prasad, and I'm currently working as a senior cloud and DevOps engineer, I should say. And training is a part-time that I do, guys. And I've been training people on various technologies from past 8+ years. And the technologies include Linux, Windows, VMware virtualizations, and cloud, AWS, GCP, and DevOps. Okay. And now I'm currently working on a complete cloud environment, multi-cloud environment, along with all DevOps strategies and all. And let's get started. Okay. So, like, today we are here talking about cloud. And guys, I'll be asking you some questions. Just feel free to answer them. Whoever knows the answers, just try to make this session interactive. It's not that I tell you and you'll have to be silent. Okay, just talk, give your responses, give your thoughts, ideas, and all. So, what is a cloud from your standpoint, guys? I know you all joined here in the demo. At least you might know something, or you wanted to know something, but just want to understand what is your idea of cloud. What do you think a cloud is from your standpoint?
So cloud is like storing data in data center where we can access
Hmm.
without any limits, and we can store petabytes of data. We can increase our scaling our data size without any limitation, as well as we can fastly access the data as well.
Yes.
Mm,
Okay. Got it. So in simple terms, from your standpoint, you say that cloud is nothing but a remote storage where we can store huge amount of data without any limitations, right?
yeah.
Okay, good. Obvious. Like we all started with that, by the way. The concept of cloud is started from that point. Okay. And any other thoughts? Any other answers to the question? Like what is a cloud from your standpoint?
So we can, yeah, please go ahead.
Cloud is a computing platform that provides infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service in
Okay.
public public services out
Yes.
of data center.
Yes. Yes. So both are valid, by the way. I mean, whatever Navin has said and whatever you, Sai, said, both are true. But yes, now when we talk about the cloud is nothing but a service offering where they offer us kind of services such as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And now they're coming with different notion called anything as a service. Okay, so you have some idea and you want to sell that idea, you can create that as a service, and then you can just get your clients and then start paying them on monthly basis or usage basis and all. So we call it XaaS, anything as a service. That is also possible now. Yes, so that's what it is, guys. So initially the concept of cloud, that's the reason when most 80% of the time people say that cloud is a remote storage. In fact, that is how we have all started. If you remember, we all started using cloud by when did we started using cloud, guys? So the moment when we had the smartphones, right? So we started backing up our
No.
data, we started storing our pictures, we started storing our documents in a Google Drive, in an iCloud, in a Dropboxes, so that you will be able to get access to your files, your pictures, your videos from anywhere across the globe, wherever you have internet connection, isn't it? So that is how the whole idea of cloud started, as a remote storage. So people started using it. Then that's where Amazon went one step ahead and said that, hey, it's not only the storage that we offer, we also offer you compute capacity for running your applications. That's where Amazon has started this cloud business, by the way. We'll come to that point. So let us discuss this option that we have. See, so what is cloud? Like I said, 80 to 90% of the people said that it is a remote storage server where we store data. And in fact, yes, that's where we all started. Like iCloud, Dropboxes, Google Drives are the best example of cloud, guys. So let's say you have some documents on your local laptop. Now you are in a vacation, you are traveling now, your personal laptop is at home, and you need to get access to some documents. Do you think you can just access your laptop directly from anywhere? No, right? Not really. Until unless you're a tech engineer and you have configured everything online, your desktop and everything, then yes, you can do that. Otherwise, no. But the same situation, if you're copying your files to your Dropbox, so wherever you are, you will be able to download them, you will be able to access them with just few clicks, right? Without having much of the hassles and all. So you have the data. While you're uploading the data, you need to have internet, but while accessing the data as well, you need internet. So ultimately, internet acts as a backbone for all the cloud concepts that we talk about. So without internet, there is no concept called cloud. And other way around, so we say that in order to access cloud, we need an internet connection. But guys, anything that we access over internet, is that a cloud?
No.
No. Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So now, like I said, now I'm sitting in my home, right? And I want to access my Google Drive. What am I using as a method here? I'm using internet. Now everybody is working from home, isn't it, guys? Now we all are working from home, and from home you are connecting to your office, and you are using internet as a media here, right, to communicate from your laptop to your application hosted somewhere in your organization. Isn't that a cloud? Isn't that a cloud, by the way?
No, it's not the cloud. It's a communication
Hmm.
between the interaction with the systems.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good that that's the thing, guys. So I just wanted to bring that point because most of the people also assume that like when I gave the statement, anything that is accessed over internet is not a cloud. But in order to access a cloud, you need to have internet connection, right? So the example I gave you about you working from home and connecting to office, that's a VPN connection, guys. Okay, these are not public cloud services. You are just using your internet to connect to your applications hosted in your organization. That's not a cloud setup. Okay. And when we say cloud, people also assume that it is something which is virtual, which exists. But Navin has clarified, saying that it is a data center, guys. It's very simple, right? let's say you have a phone of 32 GB. Tell me how much of data can you store on the 32 GB of phone? 32
maybe
GB, right? Yes. And you have a hard disk of 2 TB. You can only store 2 TB of disk, right? So in the same way, when you take a membership, like when you log into Google and then you say that, or iCloud, you say, hey, I want 50 GB, they are giving you 50 GB, but where is this 50 GB stored, by the way? So this 50 GB is stored on a physical drive, which you can see it as an external drive if it is your personal device. But if it is a data center, if you're storing somewhere something in data center, you should also have that physical device exist in the data center, then only you can store. That means every cloud that we talk about in the back end, they are nothing but data centers, a huge data centers. So every single byte of data, bits of data that you store is stored on a physical drive, be it iCloud, be it Dropbox, or be it your Amazon Web Services, be it your organization's file server, no matter what you talk about, wherever we are talking about data, the data physically resides on the physical drives, physical hard disk, guys. So it's not virtual, it's not that it something runs over the cloud and all, no. So it needs a physical drive, and those drives are coming from your physical data centers. So these guys are very huge, like Microsoft, Apple, right? Amazon Web Services, Google, these are very huge and they have huge data centers, very, very big data centers, the size of football stadiums and all. So that is where your data is being stored. It's not storing on cloud, or it's not virtual. People assume it's virtual. No, it has to physically reside on a physical device, and that is what we call as data centers. And data centers may vary according to organization, the size, the kind of purpose that you're looking for. And if you look at a small companies, they have the data center built in a small room, with couple of racks in them and all. And if you look at the size of the Google's data center or Facebook data center, they are huge with hundreds and thousands of servers in them. So, but the generic term that we use, data center, which is nothing but collection of servers where we have storage devices, we have network devices, we have firewalls, we have monitoring systems, we have cooling systems to maintain the constant temperature for the servers to run. So that is what we call as data center. So whomever you talk now, so you talk about Apple, you talk about Samsung, you talk about OnePlus, you talk about iPhones, right? All of these guys have their own data centers where they maintain their customer database, they maintain their clients, they maintain the data, right? If you are using Samsung, maybe Samsung might be offering you Samsung Cloud option to back up all the Samsung data. And where is Samsung storing it? It is storing it in the Samsung's data center. And we all know iPhones, like Apple iPhones, and we all use iPhones. And Apple iPhone backups are happening where? They're happening on the Apple data center, right? In the Apple data. That is how it works. And it's a concept of data center, and everyone has to have the same data center, like iCloud, Dropboxes. And to this space, see, if you see the idea now, the idea of iCloud and Dropboxes are what? We are storing our personal data, your pictures, videos, WhatsApp text messages, contacts, all of this is stored. But Amazon is also added to that criteria, to that area, where now Amazon is like, hey boss, I'm going to extend my service a bit more, and I'm going to offer compute services. Compute service is what? RAM, CPU, network, and disk. Why do we need RAM, CPU, network, and disk? We need RAM, CPU, network, and disk for running your application. You need an operating system. For operating system to run, we need RAM, CPU, network, and disk. And top of operating system, I'm going to install my web service, I'm going to install my DB service, I'm going to install my microservice, right? My applications, or be it anything, some XYZ application here. So for that application to run, we need an operating system. And for the operating system to run, we need the hardware, such as RAM, CPU, network, and disk. And that is what Amazon has started giving. And that is where the concept of public cloud service came into picture. And we call, or Amazon call it as infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure is the main component that is needed for every application to run. It's not only memory, CPU, network, and disk. They offer you security. They offer you backups. They offer you high availability. They offer you threat detection systems. They offer you world-class security. So all of those components got added to the idea of infrastructure as service, and now the whole suite of infrastructure is given to you as a service, and you only pay for what you consume at the end of the month. That's the whole idea of cloud, guys. So undoubtedly now Amazon is the pioneer who has started the concept of infrastructure as service, and later Microsoft and Google also followed the same footsteps of Amazon. Now in the market, if you look into, these are the three major or primary public cloud service providers: Amazon Web Services, Azure Cloud Services, and Google Cloud Platform. These three are the three major vendors who offers us a public cloud services. And see the term cloud. Now, let me make this clear, guys. Cloud is a technology, or cloud is a terminology, generic term that we use for the concept where we are having a self-service portal where you can log into it and start creating your own infrastructure. But there are different types of clouds available. The one that we are talking is public cloud service. Amazon is a public cloud service, which means anybody across the globe, whoever has an internet connection, can be a part of Amazon Web Services. All they have to do is that log into Amazon Web Services, create a membership account, and start building your infrastructure. And we also talk about other cloud, which is private cloud. Private cloud is like, now let's imagine that just like AWS, now I want to start my own cloud business. But to start that cloud business, I should have my own data center. I should have my own servers. I should have my own network, right? I should have my own portal, all of these things. So already the existing organizations with huge infrastructure can build a cloud for themselves, for their own clients, and for their own teams within the organizations. Like TCS can have their own public cloud, private cloud, or Rackspace, they can have their own private cloud, public cloud. Or if I have my own data center, I can build my own public cloud. And if I want, I can make it a public cloud service provider, or I can also limit it to only my specific clients as well. So that's all a different stream, guys. I'm just giving a heads up here. That's what we call as a private cloud. And for every service to work, like you take any application now, it's so we always get to see application. Now let's say example Instagram. Like we all know Instagram, we all know Facebook. We see that as simple application, or your banking applications, right? You want to transfer money to someone, you just on your phone, you just open an app and then you send it. But there are a lot of things that goes in the back end for that application to function as expected, guys, the way we are using it, right? So we need security, we need analytics, we need databases, right? We need networking. We also need storage for storing the data, developer tools for customizing your applications, or writing the code, or upgrading your code, or enhancing your code functionality, and compute whole concept for running your application. So this is the whole idea. Even if you look into every data center, they have networking devices, they have storage devices, they have analytics or databases. They use different sorts of tools to make a single application run. Same goes here as well. Now, Amazon also started giving those services, and they name it, uh, you know, oh, just one moment. I'm looking for a pen. I'm not able to get it. Okay, fine. So we have services. So Amazon calls them differently, right? So um, databases, they call it RDS, remote database. Remote database services, and then compute, they call it EC2, right? Storage, they offer you different storage options like file storage, object storage, and then block storage, networking. You can build your own networking on top of AWS to host your applications. And after that, you need some analytics. You have traditional data, or you have data that is coming through, and you wanted to create some graphs to showcase to your clients. You need to analyze what is happening. Then you can incorporate analytics to it, and it offers you world-class security as well. Different security measures at each and every layer. Developer tools, they also offer you different developer tools. Okay, so I'll take a pause. Any questions here, guys? Anyone? Okay, I take it as no. And now, like, this is okay. Like, we know with this cloud, it started things, and Amazon came up with it. Then why should I use it as an individual, and why should organizations use it? What is that benefit that we are going to get out of this concept, right? So there are primarily four major pillars that enterprises or we as individuals, why we use it. So let's take an example here. So the major pillars are high availability and fault tolerance. Okay, before I explain you with an example, I just wanted to hear from you guys, like, what is the difference between what is high availability and fault tolerance, and what is the difference? Anyone?
High availability means even though if one system fails,
Hmm.
without interruption of our services, we need to provide services to clients. Even though our
Okay.
fails in our server,
Hmm.
we need to take a like with the backup of other server, we need to provide services to clients. This is called high availability.
Hmm.
And fault tolerant, yeah, the data should be backup in different system. Like
Okay. Okay. Not exactly, but you are almost reached the point, but I'll explain it in a better way. Yeah. Anyone else?
Fault tolerance.
Yeah.
Fault tolerance means the service should be available for the customers, even though any of the component had some malfunction or problem, technical problem.
Then what is high
In
availability?
fault, in fault tolerant, we have the failover concept actually. Failover in the sense like something fails, the other thing picks it up. But high availability is the concept of there is no downtime at all actually.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay. 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 Let me explain you. Say high availability and fault tolerance, we always interchange these terms, guys. Okay. We call it HA or FT. We just do slash FT whenever you're offering a service, and I'll say we give you HA slash FT. So basically, both are situations, or both are the concept which talk about the availability of your applications. Irrespective of the failures, your application should be up and running. That is the whole concept of high availability and fault tolerant. But there is slight difference. The difference is that high availability have a minimal downtime, and fault tolerance has zero downtime. Okay, let's say you are running an application, okay, and all of a sudden it is down for some reasons, be it a component failure, or be it something, or the hardware issues, or the application service stopped abnormally because of some reason, some XYZ reasons, doesn't, okay, leave about that. So okay, and you encounter the situation, and there's a web page, and web page went down and says page not found now, and user tried couple of times, and within couple of times the page is up now. Okay, so that means now, let's say, like, it took 2 minutes for the user to get back to normal page, and it took for the service to come back to normal stage. That 2 minutes is a downtime here, which is very, very minimal, by the way. That's what we call minimal downtime. That means the end user get to know that there is a failure. Just like, you are in a home now, imagine, and you are in a gated community, you are in a home, and all of a sudden there is a power cut. and your watchman realizes there is a power cut and it starts the generator. So he- from the moment he realized there is a power cut and then he starts the generator, maybe it took 5 minutes of time. So that 5 minutes is a downtime. That is what we call high availability. That means even during failures, we'll make sure that the service is up with minimal downtime, which is negotiable or which is negligible. Whereas when we talk about fault tolerance, now you are watching a movie in a shopping mall, you don't even know if the power has gone or power has come, because the movie still continues irrespective of the power, because they have a backup power supply in the back end and all. So fault tolerance is kind of zero downtime. There is a failure, but you will never know there is a failure. Both deals with the same thing, but here the concept is fault tolerance is zero downtime and high availability is a minimal downtime. So this is something that you could achieve in cloud without investing huge amount of money, guys. That's the whole idea here. Is that clear? So now, like, to illustrate an example here, if you see, we have a mobile phones. Even like we started using smartphones, guys. Nokia, right? Sony Ericsson phones. I hope you all are remember those things. And now during those days, we don't have a cloud concept back then, but we had the concept of smartphones, and we used to have a SSD drives, like small SSD chips, and we used to take a lot of pictures, videos, MMS services, right? And all of those data you get stored on your SSD disk, SSD drive. And what we used to do to make sure we have the data backup, we used to copy that. At least what I used to do was, I used to maintain multiple copies within my laptop or desktop and then store in my friend's laptop and desktop as well. Like in C drive, I'll create a folder and copy it. And again, in D drive, I used to do the same thing. And I'll also do the same thing on my friend. What is the purpose of doing those many copies, guys? What was the whole idea behind that? Even if we get removed automatically, even if we remove it unknowingly or knowingly, okay, so that we still don't miss out our data because I have the other copy in place. That's the whole idea. That is how we used to do it. Now same goes with, like, then when we started using our iClouds and Dropboxes, what we used to do, we used to copy the backup all the files, the pictures, videos, the contacts, everything. So in the first case where there is no concept of cloud, when we lost our mobile phones, we used to feel so sorry for losing the data more than feeling for the phone, right? Phone is gone, that's okay, but I have a very important contact in it. I don't know how do I get those contacts back, right? I have a, like, recently we have been to a vacation. I had a good pictures of my family and I miss those things. I have some files stored in it. We used to feel more for the data than the device. But now the situation is different thing, right? You don't have to worry. So you integrate your phone with your cloud, and you lost the phone, that's okay, and you get a brand new phone and you integrate with your cloud. With the last caller called you before you lost the phone, you get every single piece of data that you had stored in your phone, right? That is the kind of beauty that cloud is offering us, and where you don't have to maintain multiple copies, you don't have to worry about copying things manually. It all, the backup happens automatically. That means irrespective of the device, irrespective of the failures, you will still be able to access your data. So that is how your cloud offers you high availability and fault tolerance. And talking about enterprises, a very good example here, forget about cloud, let's imagine you are a startup company. Okay, but don't take that, cloud is only meant for startup company. This is an example for you to understand the concept. So you have built an application and you started your business in 2016, and that was a huge hit, by the way, right? Huge hit in the sense, like, the moment you launch, there are 1,000 customers for you, 1,000 users, and you have to buy the infrastructure, right? There was no concept of cloud at all, and you'll have to buy the servers. Do you know the process of buying the servers, guys? Like, how much time does it take, and what is the investment that you'll have to do? First thing, you will have to build a data center. When I say build a data center, you should have some space. Space won't come for free, of course. You either have to rent it or you'll have to buy it. That's investment. And then you'll have to build some centralized AC cooling systems, dual power supplies, right? Monitoring systems, constant temperature management. So all of this is investment that goes through dual network connections, because if one network goes down, you still have the reliability. You will have all of this, and after that you will have to buy the servers. So to buy a servers, Your architect has to give you a suggestion of what should be your requirement of memory, CPU, what kind of processors you need, what the storage servers, SAN servers, like what should be the IOPS, how many reads, how many writes, and network devices, how the routing would happen, and how are you protecting it. And you may also need some load balancers. Earlier there was no software load balancer. Now we have software load balancers, right? So all of these devices you'll have to buy. So to buy it, you will have to invest money first. It's not, there is no installment concepts here. You will have to pay all upfront, and then they get delivered, and you pay the money, you raise the order, purchase order, and it will take minimum 6 weeks, minimum 6 weeks to maximum 3 months of time for those devices to get delivered. And they get delivered to your on-prem, wherever you are building a data center, and your architect or your engineers should test those servers. They should rack mount it and define the network architecture, right? And then install the applications, install the services. This is the whole process, guys. That means to onboard a single application, it will take if you're working at a war foot speed, it will take minimum 6 weeks, and maximum it will take 6 months or even 1 year as well to bring up one environment up. This is the time, and that's how they have built these servers in 2016. And 2017, they expected, they anticipated that, okay, we should be ready with the kind of response that we had. We could, there are chances of doubling it, and they went up to 5,000 users, 4 times of what they started with. So to meet up to their demands, they have increased their capacity as well. Again, they'll have to invest money. And with the same growth, they assumed it would go up to 20,000, and they procured the servers. But what happened? Story upside down, and there is only 7,000 users. They did not, I mean, the growth did not go that has happened the last year, right? And now these servers that you see here, so these servers that you see here now, what are these for? These are of no use now, but you have invested money, right? Now once they are procured, there is no concept of giving them back, and this won't work, and they should sit idle in your data center. So you have invested money in them, but you are not using them. And at the end of the 5th year, no matter you use it or you don't use it, their warranty guarantee period will go when they become outdated. And for the latest application that comes up, this server might not be suitable for them to run. So this is the major problem that every organization would face. And what if they don't procure it? Think the other way around. Let's say they have anticipated there could be 7,000 users only, and they did not procure the servers, but now all of a sudden the user base has increased to 20,000 or more than 7,000, where you don't have infrastructure. If you remember, the um, Flipkart's first big billion day was a flop because they didn't anticipate so much of people logging into their websites. The website crashed. It didn't go well, right? There are so many such cases, guys, where you are in both situations. You don't know what to do. In the first case, you might be at stake where you invest money and you don't get your returns back. In the second case, your reputation is at stake. If you are not offering the better service to the client, and there might be false feedback on you saying that, okay, you are not offering a best service and all. So this is the kind of challenge that enterprises have when they're maintaining their own data on-prem data centers, guys. At least if that is a public facing application, this is the challenge that they have. But the beauty with the cloud is that it adopts those changes, and we call it scalability and elasticity. So scalability, from 2 we went to 4, and from 4 we came to 3, which is elastic. That means I am able to adopt the change and need. So from 4 I can get into 8 as well, and if my demand is not meeting to 8, now I can get back to 3. Examples now, like we all use Flipkart, we all use Amazon, and these guys come up with big billion day sales, right? Where every quarter or every couple of months they come up with options of, hey, we are giving you huge discounts. And yes, when we see an ad, even if we don't want to buy it, we just log into the server to see what products do we have and what is the discount that we have. So when these many people are logging in, it is obvious that during these offer seasons, more number of people will connect. And when more number of people are connecting, the server should be able to take their responses. They should give us the platform to log in and see it without any delay in the responses. And also during these times, I may need maybe 20 servers. But once the offer is done, once the offer period is done, I don't think I need 20 servers. I need only 10 servers. That means I have grown from 10 servers to 20 servers during the peak period. And after my peak period, after my the offers are completed, I'll come back to my regular user base, which is 10, where I need only 10 servers, right? So that is the advantage that you get when you are using a cloud, guys. So scalability and elasticity are inbuilt, and at any point of time you pay only for what you consume, okay, and for the amount of time that you have been using. So this is the flexibility that cloud is offering, which is helping even the enterprises, the startups, the individuals to start and innovate and build your own applications without having to worry about the initial cost or initial investments at all. If there is no concept of cloud, you would never see the kind of startups that we are seeing now, guys. Like you take example Ola, Uber is a big thing, by the way, like Zomato, all of these guys. So if they're a startup, if they have an idea, if there is no concept of cloud, they will have to invest all their capital in buying the servers first, rather concentrating on the code and logic or the serving the clients. But with the cloud, we are just offloading all of this burden, and we are only paying for what we are using, and we can concentrate more on our the actual strength, be it applications or be it customer service and all of those things. So that is the beauty that cloud offers us, guys. So high availability, fault tolerance, scalability, and elasticity without having to invest anything upfront, right? So that is what I have for today for you guys. I mean, just to set the context of cloud, why we are using it, very, very basic and very, very high level. I haven't talked anything regarding AWS or anything regarding the cloud services and all. But yes, next thing, certification path, we will discuss. Now it's your turn, guys. Any question that you guys have, feel free to ask, and I'm here to answer them.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Nagaraju.
Yeah, Nagaraju.
Actually, I'm from civil background. I'm working as a site in the last 3 years. I'm new to this IT sector.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a complete different background, should I join this course, or I mean, I'm very new to these courses. So,
See, yeah, you are new to this. That's okay, but if you really want to get into IT now and you want to have a career in IT, yes, this is the right start, I should say. You can do it now. See, what I always believe is that everyone is new. When I started in AWS, I was new, right? It's been almost like 4.5 years now. So everyone who is learning a new technology is new to that. But yes, for you, you will have to spend some extra time understanding the concepts, understanding the basics. If a normal person who is already a developer, who is already in Linux admin or a Windows admin, so they understand the concepts in a better way. They can correlate, or they can imagine, okay, they can always correlate with what they are doing on-prem, and they can always correlate with AWS. For you, it's a new concept. But yes, you will have to spend some extra time here. But yes, you can always excel in this, not a problem. No big deal in it.
thank you.
Yes, sir, this is Shokma.
Yeah, Shiva.
Yeah, what are the prerequisites that we need to learn this AWS? Do we have any basic knowledge regarding any language like?
I should say no. Okay, so let me just open a print for you to easily explain. See, guys.
No, what I just started basics of Linux, so now I'm new to this one also. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Yes, I totally understand. See, one is learning AWS or cloud. Okay. And for this, so let's example solution architect associate. So why am I not able to write? For this, I would say no prerequisites, because we start right from the basics of what is AWS, how they have set up their data center, okay, and what are we going to do, what are the services that they're available. We start right from basic, explain you what is the service for, how they have built it, what is that we are going to achieve out of this is what we are going to discuss. So there is no prerequisites, but getting into a job is a different story again. Right? So when you're talking about a job, there are a lot of requirement. You are going to host applications. It could be on Windows or Linux. So when we talk about applications, there are hell lot of applications. We have Java applications, Python application, Node.js applications, right? Example, Java, Python, Node.js. Now you tell me which language will you learn? So no, that's okay, because we have developers and their job is to write the code, write the logic, whatever it is. They build the applications. But ultimately, these applications have to be executed. They have to be run on some environments, right? That is where we talk about servers. It could be Windows or Linux. If something is not working as expected, you should be able to troubleshoot them as well, right? Again, what are we talking about here? We are talking about Windows troubleshooting and Linux troubleshooting. So Linux basics or Windows concepts and Linux concepts are mandatory for you to get into a cloud and work on the environments. And talking about the platform, right? So clients can have their own on-prem. Now they can get into cloud. When we talk about cloud specifically, the infrastructure could be on AWS, they could be on Azure, they could be on GCP, or there could be some on their own thing. Now, but here, the reason why we are getting into AWS is that, like I said, most of the clients are on running their infrastructure on AWS. Undoubtedly, that is for sure. And in terms of servers where the applications are running, like 80 to 90% of them are Linux. So that is the reason we say that when you want to get into a job, when even you're learning AWS, you also should know Linux here. That is a basic thing. Without operating system, like without knowing the basics of what is application and how are you going to work on it, how are you helping your developers, or how are you helping your team. So ultimately, as an administrator, as an architect, you will have to troubleshoot few things. The developer will come to you and say that, hey, my application is not working. I'm not able to access it. Maybe can you verify the memory consumption? When you see the disk usage, the disk might be full. So your job is to fix those issues as well. So you need Linux there. And talking about the code, so now automation. So why do I want to do the same repetitive task? Okay, like if I have to clean up my disk space very regularly, then why should I do it manually? I'll have some script in place. So as a system administrator or as an architect, knowing shell script or bash script, but now people are leaning more towards Python scripting. So that will be added advantage to you if you know it. Right, so this is what the skill set that you need to maintain to apply for a job. But to learn AWS, you don't need any of these things. You can just directly get into SAA and we will be learning everything right from the scratch. So when you think of like, should I learn Linux, it's two things. Now you are already a manager. Let's say imagine you are a manager or tester, but your team is getting into AWS now. Okay, you don't have to know all of this because you already have made a profile. You are already tester. or you are already a developer, or you are already a Linux admin, you're already system admin. So you already know what you are doing basically, or you're application support developer. You do that, but along with learning AWS is added advantage because your organization might be moving that application to AWS, which will enhance your skill set. Now you'll understand the infrastructure better than others who's not aware of AWS. So for all of those things, just getting started with AWS is fine, perfectly fine. But to create a profile, these are the things that you need to talk about. Like I had a question previous, like I'm new to this. If you're new to this, yes, you will have to. So AWS is just a part of it now. But apart from AWS, you should also build your technical skill set around this complete stack. Then you are a complete administrator now. Is it clear?
And one more doubt is are you providing any basics here regarding Linux and shell scripting
No,
by this course?
basics. No, 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 no. We are not covering anything regarding Linux, but a few Linux concepts will be covered when we talk about EC2, like the web server installations, the disk space, and all. But otherwise, I should say no. It's very, very minimal. We are not covering those.
What are
Okay.
the different sectors are there in this by AWS?
So,
Like architect,
so these are the the levels or the paths that Amazon offers. So they have this associate level, professional level, and specialty certifications is what they call. So in the architect, we have solution associate, we have solution architect associate, developer associate, and sysops administrator. In professional, we have solution architect associate and DevOps engineer. In specialty, we have advanced networking specialty, big data, and there are other couple of certifications added recently, which is security specialist as well. So these are all the certifications or path that offers, guys. So from the working standpoint, so what is that course covers here basically is that we will be covering solution architect associate 100%. When I say 100%, right after the sessions, you will be able to clear the exam as well. That I can assure you. So both theoretically, practically, whatever is needed for you to clear the solution architect associate exam, those things we are going to cover 100%. But certification is not the only motto here. We also should have showcase some hands-on experience that you are already like. My goal is that at the end of the session, you should be able to showcase at least minimum 1.5 to 2 years of relevant experience into AWS, no matter what you are into now. Let's an average, let's say you have around 5 years of experience, and now when you're learning AWS, you'll have to the whole idea is to get into better jobs, right? Right, you want to change your career into AWS cloud and all. So keeping that in mind, when you apply for jobs, you cannot just tell them that you have just learned AWS couple of months back, right? So you'll showcase that you have a working experience already of 1.5 year or 2 years. So to build that 1.5 2 years of working confidence, I will have to talk about the concept of developers. I will have to talk about the concept of sysadmin, sysoperations. Sysops is like more of day-to-day operations that you do in AWS cloud, and as well as some concepts of professional, because writing appearing for the exam is different, working is different. When you're working, you're a AWS cloud engineer. They don't give you job based on the certifications that you do, right? You any job that comes your way, you should be able to fill them, but the way they're giving you task doesn't depend on the kind of certification that you have. So you might be an AWS architect or consultant now, you should be doing DevOps, you should, if the task comes through. So we will be making, like I will be talking about those concepts as well, so that you understand how the day-to-day operations happen, how does development happen here, and how does the professional concept, the more advanced concepts would look like, so that it will be easy for you to justify that you have such experience. So from the course standpoint, so 100% of solution architect associate from the exam standpoint, from the hands-on standpoint will be covered, but rest of the things we will be talking only from the operational standpoint, like we do the labs, okay, and we'll be talking about the concepts, but not from the exam standpoint. That is how the course is designed, guys.
And hi, are we learning any DevOps concept here, or only we will focus on AWS?
We focus only on AWS. We have a separate session for DevOps, guys, because if I start teaching Linux or if I start teaching DevOps in AWS content, I'll have to compromise on the AWS content here. The content itself is so huge. With the time that we have, it won't be possible for me to cover the other concepts here. So whole and soul, we'll be talking about AWS concepts only.
Okay. And the time duration?
It would take 1.5 months.
Okay.
Hi, Shiva. This is Naveen.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working as a big data engineer, and we are using AWS Cloud. I didn't
EMR?
EMR, S3,
Yes.
and I mean, I have very little knowledge on VPC and subnets and Docker. I mean, I don't have much knowledge on this, but I have little knowledge. Docker and IAM roles. So apart from this, what topics you are going to cover in AWS, like on, I mean, Docker and whatever I said, right? Apart from this.
So, I mean, we will start from user administration, right? IAM, S3, EC2, RDS, and then load balancers, auto scaling, SSM service, the patching automation by using SSM, and auto scaling, and RDS, VPC, and SNS service, SES service, and Docker, Amazon ECS service, right? Lambda, cloud formations. Yeah, these are the things.
Okay, SQS service as well?
No, we will be theoretical discussing about SQS. It is more of a developer service, more where you'll have to write your code first in, first out, last come, first out. So as an architect, you don't have much to do with those things.
Okay. Okay, mostly we are using whatever the concept you said, we are using mostly Lambda, like VPC and subnets, Docker. But as I told you, like mostly I'm developing like Spark code. So that's why like I want to learn little deeper on this concept.
Sure. We'll be able to fulfill your requirement. That's not a problem.
And actually, GitHub and CI/CD something. There are a few other things. Are those going to cover in this?
No, those are covered in DevOps session separately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hi Shiva, this is Raju here. Can
Hey,
you please
Raju.
explain me about the future, how it is going to be in the AWS technology? Because 2 years back, for the AWS, it is the demand and scope is very high. But nowadays, everyone is learning AWS. How it is going to be? If you learn AWS, how it is going to be in the future?
Okay. And see, undoubtedly, it is already proved that cloud technology is going to be the long-lasting going forward. There is no doubt there. But my suggestion would be, or my approach, if I am in your place, the way I adopt myself the new technology is that now everyone has to get into cloud, guys. No way looking back. Even those who initially said that, hey, I'm not going to move into cloud is not secure and all, even those people are getting into cloud now. Even the banking sites, bankings are getting into cloud. So even if they have their own on-premise data centers, they are going to leverage cloud for some or the other reasons at some point of time in every organizations. So undoubtedly, cloud is going to be a technology for next 10-15 years, undoubtedly. And but in our case, now for us to get launched into cloud, AWS is the right service or right provider for us to get into market, because at this point of time more people are using AWS, so you'll have more openings, right? But going forward, the same clients, whoever is adopting AWS now, will get into other clouds as well, like Azure or GCP. So you should become a cloud centric person, not specific to AWS, but you should be comfortable working in any cloud. That is what we call multi cloud platform. So you should make yourself ready with that, then you are good for next 10-15 years, along with some automation skill set, like infrastructure as a code and using automations by using DevOps strategies and all, and you are good.
Fine, thank you.
Question here, like if I know the AWS, so it is easy to understand the Azure as well, or I have to run Azure separately?
Yes, to your first answer, yes, it is easy. Let me give you a different example, guys. Okay, a very different example. See, now I want to learn riding a car, right? So initially I'll spend like maybe a couple of months understanding the car terminology, the analogy, whatever it is, right? And then I get used to it, and now I'm able to ride comfortably. Now but when I'm learning, do you think I'm going to learn riding a car on an RD? No, right? I learn in an old car, a Maruti 800 or Alto or some Fiat, some old car. But once I know the concept of riding a car, the way I shift my gear, the way I press my clutch, brake, and accelerator, right? Now I can drive any car, right? Now I can get into a very high-end car, maybe a sports car. It will take some time for me to adjust to that sports car, right? Some time, maybe a couple of kilometers, maybe a couple of days. But from the third day, you are very comfortable because you know the concepts now. Same goes with the cloud. That's what I say, the terminology, cloud technology. So when you're learning AWS, you are knowing the gist of every service that they are offering us. Now, whatever the service that Amazon is offering, same thing has to be offered by Azure, same thing has to be offered by GCP, Google Cloud, or any other cloud for that matter. But so when you're spending like, let's say, 60 hours of time learning AWS and you want to get into Azure, you will hardly have to spend maybe 15 to 20 hours, because you know the concepts, but you should get adjusted to the console, you should get adjusted to the terminology. That's it. So when you're learning one cloud, it is a cakewalk for you to get into any other cloud. Just you have to spend some time understanding the terminology and comparing the services. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Does it require any software installation for this?
No, we will be using a complete what we call cloud platform. See, this is a platform where this is the console. This is my AWS account, by the way. You will be creating your own account, which is free of cost for 1 year from the day you create your account, with certain limitations. We will be talking about those limitations as and when we come across those limitation concepts. And you don't have to install any piece of code on your laptops or any piece of softwares. You just need to have internet connections and account will be created. I'll walk you through the account creation process as well.
Shiva, actually, so when we apply for the jobs in the market, like, what is that we mainly focus on, like, how do we protect our, like, going forward, like, so AWS developer or architecture, or like, how do we can deal with the job and market?
So that depends now. There are roles specific to cloud ops role. cloud ops.
Okay.
So when you're applying for a cloud ops, the technology, this training will help you get into that cloud ops role, where you do operations on top of cloud, the day-to-day activities, maintenance, decommissioning, and all of those things. And there are certain roles which are DevOps, right? So now sometimes even the job descriptions are such a way that they ask you both. They want a AWS engineer along with some DevOps skill set, automation. So if you can make yourself ready for that profile, like learning AWS is okay, you are good to get into any other things. But when you get into DevOps, there are other services or tools that you need to know, like someone just brought up, right? Like Git, Jenkins, Terraform, Docker. So you should master in those skill set as well. Then you are good to apply for both the roles, cloud ops as well as DevOps.
Okay.
But DevOps roles are more comparatively with cloud ops. If you find any cloud ops roles, you are lucky enough. But you will find DevOps roles so many roles for DevOps.
Okay.
Any questions?
And how about certification? Like how much cost it is going to have this one?
It is
The certification.
$200, which you'll have to pay to Amazon.
$200.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the certification is valid.
$200 for $200 for associate certificate, for a specific certification, or
For
for
associate.
professional?
For professional, it is
Okay,
300.
fine. Oh, okay, fine.
Anything else?
July onwards to 2020, the concepts are newly added into AWS associates certifications. Is it in any curriculum is changed and the certification process?
Yeah, certification process has changed, by the way. Earlier, it was for, like, they used to give us percentage, like 65%, 70%. Now the score is for 1,000. That's the thing. And earlier there was 5 streams. Now they made it only 4 streams. But the content are mostly the same. The one extra component that they added Docker into it. These are the things. But we will be covering the latest one only. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Hi, sir. This is Gopi. Sir, Linux plus AWS is a good combination or not to get more jobs? Or
See, if you want to be a system administrator, Linux is mandatory. Without Linux, there is no way forward.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm a new person. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. That's what. So when you're learning Linux, learn it perfectly and learn all the concept, or at least RHCSA and RHCE. So certified engineer, certified administrator. These two concepts you should be thoroughly knowing.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Shiva, it's Maheshwar here.
Maheshwar.
For AWS, especially for the infra people, actually, system administrators, DBAs. In the market, if you see, AWS cloud architect is very lucrative. Actually, it is having more the package wise. It is having more chances. But for system administrators like DevOps, SysOps people, the package is not that much competitive, am I right? So for infra people, what will you suggest actually means to be in par to go ahead with the architect certifications, or How about actually? Is there any specific line or direction they need to choose?
May I ask you like where you're located, like in India or US?
In
Just
India
to
only.
India
India
only.
only.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, see, when you say architect, right, that means you are specific to cloud. Let's say now, I'll tell you where this whole idea comes into picture. I'm a startup
Yeah.
now. Okay. Now I am building an application. I only know how to build an application, but I don't know how to host it. So that's
Right.
where the architect comes into picture. When we talk about hosting, his job is to host the application, how the day-to-day operations would work, how are you securing your applications, what kind of services you are going to provide. It is more of an architect role. You're not doing day-to-day operations here, but you are helping
Right.
someone to build the whole infrastructure on top of cloud. So that's
Right.
when you say architect now, you should be having experience to that. It's not something related to for 5 years or 4 years. So you should have something above 8+ years experience is what they expect. Along with that, they also expect you to know some coding language like hosting the applications. You should know how the Node.js works. If their application is Node.js, if they talk about Python, you should know how the Python would work, how the APIs would work, and how do you protect these APIs from external? How do you allow only specific users to access it? How will you allow user authentication to allow this access? And how do you maintain the databases, right? And how do you
Right.
protect from security threats? So these will be the responsibility of cloud architect, which is quite not possible for someone with 4 or 5 years of experience. So when you talk about salary point, so they are paying for all of these things all together, and they are naming it as architect there, right?
Right.
So when we talk about cloud ops now you are an architect, you already built it. It's a one-time job. After that, the developers have to take their regular backups. They will have to upgrade their instances. They will have to onboard new instances. They will have to remove the old instances, or they will have to add some enhancements to existing infrastructures. That is where the cloud ops comes into picture, who is
Right.
basically a 4 or 5 years of experience, guys.
Okay.
Right? From this salary standpoint, I cannot, a 4 years guy cannot compete with 10 years guy, right?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So these
So,
are the things that
what-
goes behind the skin when they say architect. Like these are the things
all
that
right.
they expect out of it, and multi-cloud platform as well.
So whatever may be the background, you are coming from an infra background, working as a system administrator or a DBA for more than 12 years. It is advisable to take the architect role rather than the SysOps role. Am I right? So
Exactly.
that's how. Got
Exactly.
it.
And
Got it.
the
Got it.
other way around, if you are that's what I told you. If you're finding a role for sysops, you are lucky enough for the freshers and all. But otherwise, once you are hired as an architect with 5 to 8 years of experience in between, you will have to do it. That's what I pitched in the very beginning, right? So preparing for the certification is different. Working in the environments is different. You are hired as an AWS architect or hired as AWS cloud engineer. So once you are hired, I cannot segregate that. Okay, you are an architect, then you only this is you're supposed to do, or you're a sysops guy, only this you have to do. You will have to do everything. You'll have to maintain everything, at least in
Sure.
India.
Sure. 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 So that's what actually. So more having a background of more than 12 plus. So it is good to start with cloud basics and then go into a direction where I can where we can be able to acquire knowledge as an architect role, and then that should be the right path. Correct.
Exactly.
Right. Thanks.
Yep.
Hello, Shiva.
Anything
I'm
else?
Dhruv.
Yeah.
So during the course, so as you said, some of the AWS services are paid services. So you'll be demonstrating them, or you'll be just walking through the concept because you will see like it will be saying like, is it a paid service? So I will just tell you the concept and then you guys experiment, explore like that, or you'll be covering in the real time with those paid services for a short period of time and get us familiar with that, or how is it?
Everything will be hands-on, guys. 80% of the course will be hands-on. See, there are few services, like I said, SQS. I didn't talk about the price there. SQS is more of a developer service, which I cannot show you. I cannot write a code there, right? But from the admin standpoint, like talking about Docker, talking about ECS, Elastic Container Services, talking about VPC, load balancers, all of these services I'll be showing you hands-on. Because if it is a paid service, I may be using it for 1 hour, and you as a practical, you may be using it for 2 hours. If you are not able to spend that amount of money, and it's of no time, right? And I don't think that's ethical for me to say that it's a paid service, so I'm not going to show you. I will be explaining you things, and I will be showing you how practically we implement that, and you will be working on it. But
For
I'll be
sure.
giving a heads up there, heads up saying that, okay, this is a paid service, and if you are using within these limits, you will not be charged. If you are crossing these limits, you will have some bill. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, understood. Like, because some of the sessions I attended previous AWS courses, but I
Understood.
couldn't that. So, so again, reason for I am reattempting is I wanted to, because everything we cannot practice on our own unless the use case comes, right? So, so the thing is, I wanted to know, some of the things which were missed, and really through some, hands-on session by the, like you, so that we can get those concepts very much understood. So that's an idea.
Sure,
That's where
definitely. But any specific service that you want to focus, like, I mean, that you had a bad experience on a specific service, so that I can just.
many things, many things. For example, EKS, the Kubernetes one, or maybe the many things like I
Okay,
cannot say
understood.
one. So,
Yeah,
so
understood.
in the
Understood.
analytics part, right, and like streaming part, so many things were there. But of course, there are so many hundreds of services, but popular ones also, which are frequently used. When we ask, it says it is their part of curriculum, but it was skipped saying that it's a paid service. I will go through the concepts through the PPT slide, and you guys can spend a time explore it, and then like that it was skipped, and during the
No,
middle of the
no,
course
no.
I was not satisfied with that.
I always tell these things, guys. See, after this, you are going to apply for jobs. Maybe you will have a bill of, let's say, if you are in US, you might end up with paying maybe $10 or 15 or $20. But you are learning for yourself. You are acquiring a skill, and spending $20 should not be a problem. Same goes in India. Like, you may have a bill of 1,500 to 2,000 rupees. That's okay, right? It's like one day we go out and have biryani or something. It's gone. Like, why don't we spend it on these things? I always encourage people spending. Okay, that's a different story. You had a bad experience, but hopefully you will not have that experience here. It's not
Yeah,
hopefully, you will not have that experience here. Yeah.
actually, I went through the AWS course through some other online this thing, but I was not happy with that at the end of the course and the way it was taken out. But still, I wanted to retake through the career IT. So
Yes. You will
let's
have a
see.
good experience here, not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Anything else, guys?
And the final, actually, so are we going to looking into basic Linux things here, or like we will not going to touch that?
I already answered this. See, Linux basics is like two, like we will be, when we talk about EC2, I will have to install some application for you. Okay. Right, web server. I'll talk about that at that specific point of time. Otherwise, I'm not going to touch on any of the Linux concepts.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. But whatever is needed for you to just install the web application and configure it and how it works and all, we will be talking about it. Like I said, the Linux things, basics, or the way Linux works and all, we will be dealing more with the DevOps standpoint, because we are not going to work on the OS layer. We are working on AWS platform altogether. So during this course, OS is just a part of a minimal part that we're working on, but we'll be more concentrating on the services of Amazon. So Linux is not part of this. Okay.
So is there any big difference between Azure and AWS?
difference will be there. It's two different vendors, right? So difference would be there, but at a high level, the concepts are the same. The difference would be in terms of their scalability. Difference would be in terms of the way they are building us, the way we are configuring them. But the end goal of both of this is to provide a service, irrespective of platforms. So, if I ask you a question like, what is the difference between an Audi and BMW? What is the difference there? Right? They're two different vendors. So Audi might be giving a better service to clients. Maybe BMW might be giving a better, what we call speed and limits. And so, but at a high level, they both are the concepts of a car. Same goes here as well. Azure and AWS are both cloud service offering providers, and they both has to work the same way. But the end goal of them is to offer a service. Here we call it EC2, there we call it instance. Here also we are creating application, there also will create applications. Here we have a network, there also will have a network. Here we have concept called subnets, there also will have concept called subnets, right? So here we have policies, there also will have policies. We have load balancers in AWS, there also will have load balancers. Here we have managed database services. In Azure also will have managed database services. The service names will vary, the way we configure them will vary, but once they are configured, the end goal is the same. Clear?
Yes, sir. Why I'm asking is that Azure, after completion of this AWS, then how much time it will take to learn Azure also? Why? Because we have to come with multiple cloud services. No? That's why.
I cannot tell you the timeline, but on average, if you are spending like, let's say 60 hours of time on AWS, so 15 to 20 hours is time what you can spend on Azure. That should be fine. You will be comfortable to work with it.
Yeah.
You can straight away, in fact, you can straight away go and start building things. But to talk about what is what, you will have to learn the concepts theoretically. For that, I'm giving you time. But if you are working something on AWS, you can straight away get into Azure and you can build it practically. Practically, 80% of the steps will remain the same. They're self-explanatory. But to talk about them theoretically, you will have to spend some time reading documents and all. For that, you will have to spend at least 15 to 20 hours of time. Okay. Anything else, guys?
During the course, you will take us through the AWS, certified solution architect, maybe previous questions walkthrough as well, like for.
I won't be taking your walkthrough, but as and when we are talking about the services, I will give you a understanding of how the questions would be asked, and even from the interview standpoint, or even from the the management standpoint, what could be your situation, what kind of questions people or client may ask you. Those things I'm going to cover. But as a part of the student kit, you will be shared with the previous questions already. Okay, there are a collection of 400 questions which the organizer will be sharing with you the moment you get registered, and you can go through them.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Okay, guys, then hope I have answered all the questions, and thank you all, and see you all on Monday. And I think we have an announcement, right? Monday, that is it 19th? Yeah. So Monday we will be starting a session, guys. So you can get in touch with the organizer and they'll be sharing you all the details. Thank you all and have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the session. See you all on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.